What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to part 2 of creating magic. Are you ready? Let's get into it. So this is especially working and will be very helpful for you if you feel like somehow nothing has been feeling magical, right? When you feel like you've been pushing so hard that everything in your body is screaming stop, or everything is kind of saying, well, can you just relax for a bit? Yes? So if that's the case for you and you've been looking for some rest, then this will actually be the way how you create magic, how you create rest, and also how you renew completely everything that's going on for you. Okay, bold promise, let's go. It was about 3 years ago for me when I felt like I wasn't really very connected to anybody. Yeah? Did you ever have that when you feel like all your relationships are a little bit random and you didn't feel very connected? And back then, I was in a coaches community. I was leading the group of 500 coaches, and we were basically, speaking about things on a regular basis. And I would say it actually out loud. I'd be like, "Hey guys, I kind of really don't feel connected to anyone." And one person would say it back to me. They would say, "Wow, that is so interesting that you don't feel connected while you're actually, talking to so many people every single day." And that really stunned me. And I thought, "Oh my God." Maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe I am connected. And this happens to us all the time, right? So for some of us where we feel like, oh, we don't actually really have many relationships or many friendships or many connections, we feel like that because we have put a certain label onto what needs to occur in order for it to become valuable. And the reason why we've put a label onto it is because the way how we run actually our lives here is very different. And I've been running it the same way because I decided back then, and then it changed at some point. But back then I've decided that, the amount of time that I spend with somebody is equivalent to the depth or to the power of the relationship that comes with it. Yeah, has it ever occurred to you where you feel like, well, I want to create some magic in my relationships, and then you thought, I'll just spend more time with this person? And sometimes it just doesn't occur, does it? Yes? If that's the case for you, I have something prepared here. And that is a powerful distinction that I would love for you to consider, right? And to just see if that feels right for you. Because sometimes the language that we actually use really brings out a lot of good stuff, right? If you look at it, think about spending time, right? Time is something that you don't even have. And so we're talking about spending it as if it is money. And at the same time, there's something else that we actually talk about as if it is money. And it is the word attention. Yes, we pay attention, don't we? Exactly, we pay attention, right? And so let's say you were to actually exchange spending time with paying attention, right? Let's shift from spending time to paying attention. What would happen? So if I were to say, all right, well, I would love to create some magic in my relationships. And I would go from, oh, let me just spend time with somebody to let me pay attention to somebody. What would really happen? I noticed after this fun moment where somebody told me, hey, you're connecting with so many people. How come you feel like you're not connected? I noticed that I wasn't actually paying attention to anything that was going on. Yes. Has that ever happened to you where you were so kind of overwhelmed and overflowing with stuff in your head that you were paying attention to everything that was in your head and not at all to what's going on in the outside world? And that is exactly how sometimes we don't feel connected, right? Because we actually don't pay attention to anything that's happening on the outside. I have so many people that I speak to on a regular basis who actually never pay attention to the outside world. They pay attention to everything that's happening in their head. And that's probably the same for you sometimes, isn't it? Because your mind is such a good commentary. It talks so much. It's so confident. It's so good. And sometimes you really you tune into those thoughts and they take you down the rabbit hole and you say, oh my God, how did I end up here? And sometimes we notice, oh, and wow, here's somebody sitting next to me. All right, well, I'd rather leave now. Thank you. Yes. And so here's something you can do actually to exchange this process, to stop being overwhelmed and to actually start experiencing some magic here. So I want you to switch time with attention. Here's how it works. In order to become better at actually understanding how your attention works, and your attention here, because we call it with the language paying, right? We say literally as if it's money. I want you to imagine that it is actually money. Yes, so imagine that is so valuable, like exactly all the bills in your wallet. Yeah, and so I would love for you to follow around your attention as much as you can today. Yeah, so if you have the time, you want to slow down, take a couple of really deep breaths, and put an intention out there and say, okay, I will follow my attention today. Let me just see where it takes me, right? This is exactly what meditation is, but you don't necessarily have to sit in a pose and close your eyes for it. You can actually pay attention to every single thing that's happening today as much as you can, right? So every now and then you will disappear into the mind, and the mind will take you somewhere and you'll be like, whoa, and then you will get back and you'll be like, oh, I'm back. I notice again, right? I notice what's happening again. I notice this. I notice that you're in front of me. I notice that somebody is speaking to me. Interesting. And so I would love for you to follow around your attention today. Yeah. And when you can, make a little bit of a journal entry at the end of the day where you say, okay, what have I observed? What did I observe when I followed around my attention? Was it jumping a lot? Like, was it going from A to B? What was it dwelling on a longer basis? You know, was it something in the back of my mind that was still there? What was at the back of my mind? And just notice, where did your attention go? Because here's the fun magic, guys. Where attention goes, energy flows, right? And you know that already. But the thing is, we haven't really practiced or embodied it, have we? And so in order to really practice it and actually practice your attention, which is pretty much at the core of everything, I would love for you to follow it around today. So go ahead, make your look through your day and set this intention to pay attention to everything that's showing up and just notice where your attention jumps and how it feels as well, right? And as you notice how it feels and where it jumps in a non-judgmental way, just notice and make a journal entry at the end and notice, hey, this is what my attention did today. It kind of went over there, it went to the wall, it went to this person, it went all over the place, and I was literally completely gone. Yes, and if that's the case, then that's fantastic. And that's completely normal because this is how you get familiar with your attention. And the more familiar you get with your attention over time, you will notice that really the core of creating some magic in your life and business lies into actually directing your attention. Yeah, to intentionally direct your attention somewhere. But you can't do that before you don't know what's doing right now. And so this is why I would love for you to go ahead, follow your attention around, and when you're ready, come back for part number 3. Bye.